Yo, what is up, everybody? Oh, I forgot to do this. There we go. Let me get this in position here like I like it. How did I do it before? Let me get in more like this. Let's do this. Sorry, everybody, but what's up? It's Coach Nick. Welcome to the post-game show. I want to get positioned here so you can see some of my nice new posters behind me. So check it out. We got Stanley dribbling and Dirk doing his fadeaway. What's up? How are you doing? Crazy game, huh? A game of runs, they say. Make or miss league, all those things. So just a crazy, insane game. No other way to put it, really. And we got to go through it. I got a lot of notes. We certainly have some comments we're going to have to go through and see what you guys are saying with this. Don't forget, if you want to ask questions, you always can do that. Super Chat's the best way to get me to answer them right away for you. And so, what is up, everybody? Where are we all from tonight? I mean, probably the usual places, right? All around the world. It's amazing that you guys are here for this. And I'm so excited to be able to be here with you on it. So, man. So the Nuggets came out. Well, let's see. Where should we start? Because there's a lot of storylines here, interesting things, and I want to figure this out. So I'm thinking we should start with LeBron. Because LeBron's stats actually in the first half were probably like fine. But I thought he was really bad. Like, his energy was bad, and he's doing this thing where we've seen this a lot in the playoffs. We've seen this all the time in his career, where he holds the ball for so long. But it just is. This is something different. It's longer now, and he's like really like thinking about everything. It slows everything down for him too. So he's getting these double pump and then shooting the 20-footers that are missing. So he just looked really just disjointed and uninterested and not part of the game. It was weird. It was not like the LeBron we saw, even though he's still so good that he'll get numbers and look like on the box score like it was okay. On both ends of the floor, it was concerning to me. So I don't know what's up with that. I mean, I know this is the end of a long career and the end of a long run of playoffs after playoffs after deep run after deep run. But something is a little bit up with him at this point, and I don't know. The Lakers are going to have to figure this out, because I got to tell you, when was it? Way before the Nuggets got up. I think with 2 minutes left in the first quarter, I think it was like a 4 or 5 point lead for the Nuggets. I said to myself, and I texted some people, I'm like, the Nuggets can win this series. They really can. Now, a couple things with that. So the Lakers were kind of lucky, right, to win game 2. They really were. You could say that the Nuggets were lucky too, but it seemed like the Nuggets did enough to win that game, and then the Lakers needed an all-time blunder by Plumlee to get open for AD and then shoot that three and nail it. So if you look at it that way, I mean, like, the Nuggets could be up 2-1, legit, right? And I don't think, let's see here. In game 1, the Lakers probably looked as good as the Nuggets did in game 3 for that big stretch, and the Lakers didn't lose their lead in game 1 like that. Here's the other thing that's a little bit strange to me, and I know that Vogel's been doing this all season long, but the substitution pattern from LeBron is a little bit strange to me. And they take him out early, like with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, and then they kind of bring him back with 2 minutes left in the first quarter, and then they go back, and then he comes back, and the same thing happened in the third quarter. So when they took the lead and blew it to 20, it was without LeBron on the floor when you probably needed him at some point in that run. But they stuck to their guns on the substitution pattern, and you can't really afford to do that in the playoffs, because if the other team goes on a run, you got to get him back in. You just got to. So there was some weird notion of luckiness. Now it actually looked like it worked. Like it saved LeBron. Then when he came back in, the Lakers went on probably one of the most impressive runs I've seen from a team, and then coupled with the most unimpressive run by a team on offense you'll see. Because normally that kind of aggressive defense, they might get a turnover, a deflection, some missed passes, but you're not going to see like 6 straight turnovers, whatever the heck it was. Now the other thing that was troubling was, or not troubling for the Nuggets, was troubling was that the Lakers turned up their intensity on defense physically. They were just pushing them out of the way. They were, having their way. And I see this in high school games a lot, where a team that's better than, they're a better team. They go on that run to end the game, in the third quarter, and it's all physical. And the refs don't call anything, and it gets really frustrating. And then it keeps building. And that's what it looked like for the Nuggets, who don't really like a lot of extra physicality. The more you let them move freely across the court in their offense, the better they're going to be, without question, for both Murray, Jokic, all those guys. So that's what I mean. That was an incredible run. I got to know who can tell me how many that was. It was like a 20 to something run, 20 to 2. It almost caught up. And I even tweeted that. I said, you know what? The Nuggets are sure lucky that they were up 20 points when all that happened, because they never lost that lead that they built up. So too little, too late for the Lakers, but man, almost enough for them. And it was really like just dominating. That might have been the most dominating we've seen a team be in the playoffs, actually, that stretch where they came right back in the game. But then what we normally see is eventually pro teams, especially teams as good as Denver, they'll adjust and they'll get used to it and they'll be able to handle it. They had to go, against the zone. The Lakers threw out zone, and that worked too. And that was a bit of a surprise. I don't think the Lakers played zone hardly at all year long. So Vogel was pulling out all the stops, and everything was working for a long time. But AD also, let's get the box score out here, because I want to see what AD's numbers were to finish. 9 for 17. So he got his 17 field goal attempts, and 9 of them, and then 9% from the free throw line, 27 points. But he was just kind of missing for too long, and that's also on the Lakers coaching staff. They need to be able to figure out how to get him going, because remember, he's not bringing the ball up and then getting the pick and then going. He needs to rely on others and part of the offense to get him shots. They didn't really go to him down low in the post enough, I thought. What they did do, though, on the Denver side, which is really helpful for them, and what I suggested was they went to the Jokic down low on the low block a lot more. But if you noticed, they were also getting in trouble with too many handoffs, like I had also pointed out. And there were some steals happening in game 2. And so tonight, same kind of thing. And there's also, they just weren't getting enough space, and it was allowing 4 people to converge around the ball and get deflections. I think that the numbers were that they had the most deflections in the playoffs. The Lakers do, or the average per game. And I mean, they must have broken a record for deflections tonight. Their hands were so active and causing so much havoc out there. It was crazy. The Nuggets really could not handle that. But you got Jamal, Murray, who can just make any shot he wants, I suppose. I mean, he hit some shots down the stretch to take control back of that game that were just amazing. And then, by the way, LeBron's numbers are going to look good, right? He almost had a triple-double, or did he get it? Yeah, he got a triple-double. I probably at the very end, I think I missed the 11th or 10th assist, but 30 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds, but he really did not have a good game. I'm just going to tell you right now. That was he stuffed some stats in that run, a bunch of run-out layups, because when they got the steals, and that really helped his shooting percentage. But, other than that, he really did not help the Lakers much. And they should be concerned, because, again, this could have been 2-1 Denver right now. And they coming off like they blowing them out and then kind of just taking control of the end and winning going away. That would certainly make the Lakers question themselves a little bit. And they should be concerned. And part of the problem is they're not really generating much from anybody else besides the top two. The top two are so good that's what's been getting them through here. They're so much better than the other top two of anybody else's teams, but, this might be an issue. Let's see. Shout out to Gigolo Puff for being out there and helping me moderate this again in the chat room. But let's see here. What's up? Hey, Coach. Hey, what's up, BB? Lakers tired at the end for playing that zone that made them come back. Not enough energy to finish the game, though. Absolutely. And that happens all the time, right? They have to expend so much energy just to get back in it. Now, the Nuggets did that as well, but they were able to handle that somehow. So I don't know, they're younger perhaps than the Lakers are. They're just dumb enough not to know that they're not supposed to be able to do that in those other playoff series. But the other thing is perhaps having gone through all of those comebacks like the Nuggets have, it might have helped them, weather that storm and kind of stay a little bit calm and understand that they can kind of get this back under control. Interesting. But the substitution pattern also for LeBron, it's almost like one of those teams that they think that they're so good and that they are better than the Nuggets that they can kind of afford to substitute whenever they want, independent of the score or the situation. And that kind of works a lot. I can remember in my league when I was coaching in high school, I think there was this one school in our league that would recruit, and they were always much better than everybody else, and it was a struggle to stay near them. And they would do that too, and they would sub and take their best players out early, like in the first quarter, and we go on a run. We're feeling really good about ourselves. And then whenever they put those guys back in, it just became a blowout again. And it was something I always felt a little bit weird about that. Like this doesn't seem right. You should be playing your best players and developing that, and then they get the big lead. Then their bench players will come in and play, but they would like tease you a little bit, and it was almost like on purpose. It was strange, and I feel like the Lakers were almost doing that, and they playing with fire because that's what got them down by 20. Luca Della, oh my goodness, friend of the breakdown. Thank you so much. You're here every night with a super chat, and that's a super duper chat. 80 with 2 rebounds in 43 minutes, and yeah. I would like to go through that and see, because I don't know if the Lakers were out rebounded per se. Let's see. Well, maybe they were. 25 rebounds. And, oh my goodness, never mind. The Nuggets got 44 rebounds. The Lakers got 25 total. That's a really big advantage there. Now, a lot of times you can mitigate that with three-point shooting. But if you want to look at that, the Nuggets had 11 threes and shot decent, 38%. And the Lakers hit 6. So you get outscored by 5 from the three-point line, and you get out-rebounded by almost 20. You're not going to win those games. And I think no matter, even though they had a run to cut it, that's two things right there. That's too much of a mountain to climb. It's too hard. So that's another big thing. I have a ton of notes here. And by the way, thanks for coming. The second live show of the day. I don't know if anybody caught it earlier. We had a nice little, midday thing for a few people, and using this really cool app that's about to go live called Locker Room, where you can have these audio chats and everyone can kind of join in and have these discussions. It's like a supercharged podcast, I guess, and it's really cool. So I was able to bring that in there, and if you missed it, you can also watch it, in the queue. And had this good discussion on these games. And then my podcast is coming out tomorrow. Got a really good one with friend of the breakdown, Jared Weiss, who was my podcast partner last season, and he's coming back on, and he'll probably make appearances all throughout the rest of the season and beyond. It's really good. We talked all about the Boston Heat series, which we'll probably get to a little bit later. But let's just go through some of the chat here and see what we have here. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody just said talk about something, and then it scrolled. Talk about, well, it's not coming up. Ask that question again if you started it with talk about something, and I'll try and find it. Let's see here. After game 2, I thought LeBron would come back in attack mode. I thought so too, and then he had those 2 of those jab step, and then fade away jump shots, right? But that's all fool's gold. That's exactly what the Nuggets want him to do. They even had one where, Jokic came on him, because remember, I was saying Jokic needs to guard him when they go to the small ball with AD at center, because Jokic just can't guard AD. And at one point he had to switch onto him in a pick and roll. But okay, 2 things. Well, first of all, oh my goodness, Jay Delgado, thank you so much. What is CRC? I wonder what that is. CRC, what country is that? Lakers were a 3-point from the tie, and Nuggets had a playoff career high from Grant and almost lost. Just like game 2, Denver almost lost tonight. That is not a bad point, that they had this amazing game from Grant and they just still barely won. But I don't know. I look at it as the 20-point lead. They demoralized the Lakers for most of that, and then weathering that storm and holding them off at the win going away because they ran out of gas. I don't know. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to argue that the Denver Nuggets deserve to win this game, right? They absolutely played much better than the Lakers did for much longer. Now Grant, okay, career high from him is really, because how many points did he have? 26. Okay. So that's, Grant should be a 20, 22 point a game scorer, right? So it's not like he had 35 or 40 and went off. Millsap's the guy, though, that's a real buzzkill for me as far as if you're looking for what Denver needs or doesn't need. 2 for 8, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line, 8 rebounds. So he got a couple good rebounds, but he's just killing them. And I have a feeling that Mike Malone's looking at the bench and thinking, well, we don't really have anybody else. Because, Michael Porter Jr. did nicely, 9 points off the bench in 22 minutes, but his defense is even worse than Millsap's, so that's a problem. But I would say give Torrey Craig. I think you should cleave off 4 minutes from Millsap and give him to Torrey Craig and maybe Michael Porter Jr. to split those 2 each or something. It's just a few extra minutes that Millsap's in there that he's really hurting them. Hurting the Nuggets, and it would make it easier for them. I think they would actually do better if they could figure out how to just get those minutes down a little bit more, and they'd be in business. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, thank you, BB Coach JW33. Wow, been watching since 2013. Wow, that's pretty much the beginning. Thanks for all the great content. How has the Nuggets defense evolved from game 1 through tonight? That's a really, really good question. Because it's I'm so staring at the offense, what they're running, and I usually go back later. But let me think about the Nuggets defense. So basically, here's the thing about Jeremy Grant. it was his part of their defense. He deserves the game ball. Okay, not only is he's the leading scorer and the go-to guy on offense for them tonight, he's got to go from guarding LeBron James to then just a guy named Anthony Davis, and he has no rest anytime else. Every possession he's in either is against LeBron James or Anthony Davis. That's just not fair. And I thought he did fine. I thought he did pretty well. Look at the shooting percentages. Now LeBron got a bunch of dunks, which kind of got his shooting percentage up. And Davis was 9 for 17. So like that's all fine. Like those are those numbers, 30 and 27. Obviously the Nuggets can win with those numbers because they're not going to get another big game from anybody else, really. And I think that's their focus, right? So their focus is more, okay, here's another thing that evolved on the defense is they're doubling Anthony Davis more. Finally. At some point, they probably were like, well, let's just let him get his and we'll shut everyone else down. But I got to tell you, it was overwhelming when Anthony Davis is getting those 30, 35 points. You got to stop that. And there's no reason not to because you might as well take your chance doubling him and then, seeing what Caruso could do or seeing what KCP can do or Rondo, if you can goad Rondo into a shot. Which reminded me, Lakers cut it to 3, and I believe that next possession when they had the ball, I think they had the ball with the 3-point lead, or it was 5, it was right in there, maybe a minute to go. And you have to have LeBron shoot it or AD shoot it. And LeBron, what does he do? He takes a dribble off a pick and roll and just passes it to Caruso in the middle of the court in a short roll, who's not going to do anything there with it. And then he kicks it out to Rondo, who they left alone. And Rondo bricked up a 3. This is happening too often with the Lakers where it's a crucial possession for them on offense. You have to have LeBron or AD shoot it, and they don't. That doesn't ball even get near them. And it's LeBron giving it up maybe too early, ironically, because he's been holding the ball for so long in all these possessions and just picking and choosing exactly who gets it, so they have to shoot it when they get it or whatever. And then he doesn't do it down the stretch. It's a very strange thing. And it's just weird because it's happened now a couple games in a row, and LeBron should be better than that. The Trib won. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. And by the way, BB Coach JW33, I mean, 2013, isn't that crazy? 7 years that you've been watching this and I've been doing it for 10. I can't get over it. I mean, I'll meet people who, who are now adults who were young kids when they first started watching Beat Ball Breakdown. And it's heartening, but it also makes me feel old. Nonetheless, the Trib won. Thank you so much. Grant's a 10-point per game scorer. Is he really? Don't expect 20 out of him. 80. Grant, I think Grant could be a 20-point per game scorer. Certainly, what we've seen in OKC and now even here, he's a really aggressive guy who can drive. He can shoot the 3 a little bit. He's got the tools to be that guy. Remember, 20 points a game these days isn't even the biggest of deals with the high, goodness gracious, pace is as high as it is now and how open it is and everyone getting shots. So, AD and Brown were decent. Rebounding was an issue. This was a bad Lakers, not a good Denver. No. The Denver was really good. Now they had to make some really tough shots so that, we don't know if it's sustainable, but no, the Denver was good. They were taking it to them for a stretch there. They were starting to believe, you could kind of see it. Now it turned around in a hurry and they're whoa, maybe they were getting a little bit big for their britches. But no, Denver, I'm telling you, at the end of that first quarter, when they came out and, the Nuggets or the Lakers didn't make any kind of statement like you thought they were going to make, I'm like, you know what, the Nuggets can win the series. They've proven that they can do that. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you. Even more super chats, guys. Colin Anthony. Thank you, Colin. LeBron wasn't good down the stretch. Kind of feels like he's been the 3rd best player in the series after AD and Jokic. I could probably go with that. Yeah. I mean, he had a spurt there where he was good, a spurt and a half, but, yeah, there's something wrong with him. I don't know what it is. It could be mental. He is disengaged. And a couple people were texting me too and talking about it during the game. And I'll have to go through and try and find even more examples of that. It's really a problem. But yeah, great point. AD and Jokic have played better consistently across the board. And then there's Murray. Murray is close to them too. He's been playing really well. But thank you. Very generous. Okay, we have from PHP Philippines, Jason Domingo. Thank you so much. Salamat. Great show, Coach. Would you have opted for Rondo had the ball and started off offense? That mark with 3-point deficit, LeBron should have been on the post. Yeah, LeBron's not going down the post. I guess he doesn't want to post up Jeremy Grant. Did he post up at all? I can't even think of a post up for LeBron in this game. part of the reason why is, Davis is going to handle that area and be there a lot. And so it's not always open for LeBron. LeBron's bringing the ball up. So that's a good point is, should Rondo be on the ball a little bit more? I know that Rondo brought it up a few times and he was doing his thing, but Rondo was not nearly as good as he's been either. That was the other problem. So let's go check the box score because I know he had some turnover issues. He had 4 turnovers in 30 minutes, which isn't like a ton, but there were some inopportune turnovers there and went 4 for 10. So, and 8 assists. Again, he's throwing dimes left and right out there. That's 8 assists in 30 minutes is terrific. But he wasn't as good as he was the last game. Although in that one stretch, again, I'm sure he boosted up some of his assists and some of his the positive plus minus in that stretch when they cut that lead. That said, a couple of those steals he got were fouls. Like, you know what happens is, the team goes on a run. They get really aggressive on defense, and they're pushing everybody around. And the referees kind of like go, "Whoa, this is all." They also disengage from their whistles a little bit, and that was a little bit strange to me. But it doesn't. You can't sustain that in an NBA game. And as we saw, eventually the fouls will come. Eventually the offense gets adjusted to that and knows how to get back into the defensive the bodies and draw fouls, settle it down, hit a shot or two, and then you got to have something else after that. So when you strip it down, what you have after that is just, they got outscored down the stretch. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness. Nation JJ, thank you so much. Too generous. Coach, great performances by Murray, Joker, and Grant, too. 80 with 2 rebounds and Lakers, 8 missed free throws, lose by 8. Who wins Game 4 in your opinion and why? Woof. Okay. I don't know. I think the Nuggets win Game 4. They're at home, right? I think the Nuggets are solving some issues here. They're figuring out, okay, doubling AD is a strategy because AD doesn't really pass that well out of it. I got to go look at I'm forgetting now exactly what was going on after that, but and they also turned around and were starting to attack AD more in the post with Jokic, which they discovered, or not necessarily discovered, but were doing a little bit at the end of Game 2. If you remember, he had a crucial post up, backed AD right down on the left block, backed him right to the front of the rim, and just hooked it in. So that was huge, a big difference because you can draw some fouls on AD and get some buckets that way. Because AD. Is AD the best defender in the low post? I don't know. I feel like he doesn't like contact. LeBron doesn't like a lot of contact on there either. So and almost to the point where it's like, okay, if Millsap's going to be out there, then post him up on LeBron. Get LeBron involved down there and see if you can draw a foul or two and get him frustrated or score on him because otherwise Millsap isn't worth being in there. I don't think as much. So. Kid Khalifa 415. My goodness, thank you so much. Coach, huge fan since 2015 Warriors. Wow. Love the content. Quick question. Any advice you can offer to the Nuggets to keep the momentum going? I mean, the one thing that I noticed, again, is they're running so many handoffs. And I got to look at some of the turnovers. How many turnovers did they have here? The Nuggets ended up having 18 turnovers. They had more turnovers than the Lakers. I mean, obviously, because in that stretch. In that stretch, it wasn't necessarily a handoffs, but again, I feel like there's times they just need more space. They need to be able to spread the defense out more, and when they're handing it off, if there's a pin down, you got 3 players sort of on the same side, the same quadrant, and that's just it's not good enough spacing, not all the time. You can do it, and you can run it. That's the staple of their offense, but I think they need to go to a little bit more spread pick and roll, and a little bit more of even post ups for Jokic, even more, and then spreading it that way. Let's see. David Mitnick, thank you so much. Are Nuggets the mentally toughest team in the league? I don't, it's funny because they didn't seem that way in that run in the fourth quarter, right? They seemed like they had just completely fallen apart. Didn't look like a pro team, but but yes, the resilience. Maybe that's the word. It's maybe not as tough, but it's resilient. They don't get all the way down. It's a testament to Mike Malone. Because there are coaches that would probably lose their SHIT and sort of crumble and start subbing left and right and timeouts and crazy whatever. And he's a very calming guy who can kind of get them back on track. Plus, you have Murray and Jokic have a lot of experience. The international games for them also help you. And the Jokic, playing in some of those EuroLeague stuff or for your national team, that's pressure. When you play for your team, for your country, right, and you're in those games, That's also pressure that steals you and gets you. You saw that Jokic never really flinched. We could see the goon squad, Dwight Howard in there trying his best. That one call, and the people, of course, all the Laker fans, I posted it on Twitter. He sizes him up and just hip checks him out of the way when he was not really even trying to get the rebound. He's just trying to smash the guy. Dwight is. And then later on, you see him walking alongside, shoulder into his shoulder and trying to talk trash to him, whatever. And Jokic didn't even respond. And that's toughness to me, because it's the fake toughness that gets into those little tiffs and they start facing up like they're going to fight or something. That's not toughness. Let's see here. So Jacob Felton, my goodness, thank you. Blame Bronny for LeBron's game today. Damn, why do I have to blame Bronny? There was something about Bronny on social media and a girlfriend, but that was a couple days ago. So what was it today? What did I miss? I don't know. Somebody tell me. Joel HK, my goodness, thank you so much. Really generous. How can the Nuggets beat the zone defense? I would probably just refer you to what we were looking at in the Heat and Boston Celtics series. And ball screening is big, screening those guards. But where? Get the guards out on the wing, and then the inside ball screen, attack in the middle, suck the other wing, suck the other guard in, and then you got a kick for a three on the wing, or you got a duck in on the weak side because the forward has to come over and do that, or the center picks up the drive, and then you got a lot of other options you can run out of that. So that's a really big way to do that. Attack the free throw line either by the penetration off the dribble or passing it there, and then attack with the guy who can score. So that's what I have to do. I don't think the Nuggets went against that much zone. I think it was probably 2 or maybe 3 possessions, and then they went away from it. So I don't think it's a thing they have to really prepare too much for. So, but that's what I would do. Guo Yang, thank you. Coach, can you rap now? I can always rap. You can hear me. I was doing all those Saturday morning highlights, and then I also had that one rap, the Curtis Blow rap. If you haven't heard it, look it up. Curtis Blow, coaching basketball parody. It's a winner, and I do a lot of rapping, and we had a whole sound stage and the actors. It was a big production. Let's see here. What else? Jacob Felton, he was smoking. Oh, he was. So Bronny was smoking weed. And got caught, I suppose, is what you're saying. Or maybe somebody got him on social media doing that. It's legal in California. I mean, I have a teenage daughter, so Lord knows I know all about it. But I don't think it's legal for, I should know, when you're under, 18, 21. And so, yeah, that would be by the way, you know what? If I were a father and I found that out and I was really kind of a strict father and really, listen, I do care. My daughter would be doing it too, but that could be distracting. That's really interesting because that actually explains it to me. Like that look I saw in LeBron's eye, he definitely seemed distracted, and that could be it. That's interesting. And he might even feel like, I'm assuming Bronny's here in LA, and maybe he feels like he's stuck in the bubble and he can't be the father figure who can help, and that's interesting. And LeBron's a very sensitive guy who would affect him that way. So that's interesting. Well, you know what? Life comes at you, and you got to deal with those things too. So let's see here. Oh my goodness gracious, guys, this is amazing. Thank you so much for the. Well, by the way, super chats are the best way to get me to answer your questions anyway. But so generous, thank you. And by the way, I like Jacob how you spelled the weed. That's exactly what it is. Nation JJ, wow. Okay, coach is picking the Nuggets. By how much? Did you notice anything different? I think I know where you're going, Nation JJ. I think we're looking to put some money down on this, perhaps, and you want some advice here. Did you notice anything different in the Nuggets working the glass, or was it more AD tired? You know what? Let's see here. That's a good question about why they weren't. Because was it offensive rebounds too? Let's see. The Nuggets got 9 offensive rebounds, which is not that much. So it wasn't like they were pounding the offensive glass. They were just grabbing every rebound. Right? That's interesting, right? Let me see the shooting percentages. So I think what might explain that, well, no, because the Lakers shot really well, so there wasn't like a ton of rebounds there. So they got 35 defensive rebounds to 21, but they only have 9. I guess, you know what? 9 offensive rebounds is a few more than what would be average. I'm thinking around 6 or 7 would be average, so they only got a few more of those. But why did they get 35 defensive to 21? I'm gonna have to go through the film. It's a little bit odd to me that there was such a big disparity. But you could point to the usual suspects of not going hard and getting those rebounds. The second chance points. We'll have to look. I don't know if they got killed as much by that. But, the team was disjointed for sure and not as aggressive, except for that one moment. So then you got to wonder, like, what is going on and why can't you get that kind of effort longer and earlier before you go down by 20? And I'm sure that's what Vogel will be saying. He'll be praising them to the nth degree about that run, which is when it was amazing. But he's going to have to be, and also be telling them we need to do that a little bit more earlier. And not even to that degree, but just a little bit more like that will keep the score closer or they'll have the lead. Glenn Ferranda, thank you. My goodness. What player does Jamal Murray remind you of? Wow. Gosh. So I got into trouble because I was thinking that, can Jamal Murray be the best point guard in the league? And of course, we forget about Steph and Kyrie. Dame's not playing. So, okay, he's fourth. Is fourth that really much farther away from number one? And, Jamal Murray's game's got a terrific floater game. He's highly skilled finishing. He can shoot the three. He can pass. He had some no-look passes. He fooled LeBron on a one where he got up in the air, was like staring at the wing and just went right to Grant for a dunk. That was beautiful. Sucked LeBron right out of the lane. So, but who does he remind me of? That's a really good question. I don't know. I think I need some suggestions and then I can respond to that because, he doesn't remind me of Steph. He doesn't remind me of Dame. Really, and the way he moves, he's kind of a bigger guard. Gosh, there's somebody out there who I guess, but it's like who is it be? Somebody help me. But I didn't really give you an idea how much the Nuggets are going to win by. If they win Game 4, I bet you they win by like 6. I don't know. It's a total arbitrary number. Sorry, but I don't know. See if you can get 6 points. Adarsh Mittal, why did Bron wait so long to get his scoring going? Well, he didn't wait so long in the very beginning. Remember, he did isolate and was looking, again, aggressive in the beginning like he did in Game 2, but then just something happened. He just completely disconnected. Now, Grant is doing a great job. Again, Grant deserves a game ball, or he deserves 2 game balls because he has to guard. I mean, it's not fair. It really isn't fair. He should get a week off right now before the next game. And Grant is doing a really good job. He's giving him a little bit of space, so it's going to be hard for him to get around. And Grant is long, and he's a great athlete. He doesn't necessarily want to shoot the outside shot as much, LeBron, even though he finally hit a 3 in transition as part of that run, which was big for them. But I think LeBron typically likes to wait and get everyone set up and all that kind of stuff. But he's holding the ball a lot longer than normal, and kind of you can hear his thoughts going, like his whole thought process. It's not a fluid action going on. He's still so good. He's going to get his 30 points that way, but they're going to lose. They lose that game. My goodness. Oh, Delise Apercu, sorry, I got to catch up with all these super chats. Thank you guys for being so generous. This is so great. And by the way, it really, really helps. It does with the way things are going, on YouTube now with everything getting claimed. This is so nice, and it really helps with revenue. But Delise Apercu, how good was Jokic today? Let's look at the numbers because there's probably some, beyond the number stuff going on with him too. But 9 for 14, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He did have 5 turnovers, and a few of them were some doozies, right? And he did look, a little bit out of it for that stretch where everybody looked out of it on the team. So, but overall, he was really, he is the best center in the league. I think you got to say, well, you know what? The only problem is his defense is really kind of not good. There have been moments when he's been better in the past, like during the regular season a little bit. I've seen him make more plays, but he's not really making defensive plays out there. And it really is rough. Like he needs to retrain his body and become a little bit more explosive. And he can unlock another 25%, which will make him a better defender just on principle, on being able to move better, to be able to elevate off 1 foot and contest better. He doesn't really do that. Like even when you saw him try to contest the Anthony Davis 3 that won the game in Game 2, it's just all this energy leakage when he's trying to jump and use his body, use his legs. It's he could clean that up, it'd be better. But offensively, he's got to be the best center in the league without question. The way he passes and the way he can shoot from the outside, hit a crucial 3 that really helped them get control back of that game. So he was absolutely fantastic today, and one of the big keys. But Jamal Murray deserves the key along with Grant. Kid Khalifa 415 again. Thank you. My goodness. Hey, coach, one of my favorite plays is the elevator play. Hey, so it's my favorite play, too. Why don't more teams like the Nuggets run it if they have the personnel? I think at some point, this is what happens. Teams love it. They run it all the time, and then all of a sudden it just goes away. No one ever runs it again. Horns, everybody ran it every play, every game 4 years ago, and then nobody runs it again, and then all of a sudden it comes back. So you watch the Celtics. They run it a lot. The Clippers ran it a lot. We saw it tonight. So, It's one of those things, ebbs and flows. Now, I suspect that there was moments where they were getting called for that screen as they're trying to slide and close it. So the elevator doors is where you have two players and you're like, let's call it the free throw line, the elbows. And then we have a player who shoots between them and then they close the doors together and catch the guy, the defender, stuck underneath. And I think that, if you're moving a little bit too much and there's too much of a collision, they'll call the foul on the offensive player. I don't know if I saw too much of that, but I'm suspecting that would make a team be like, it's too much of a risk, we're not going to do it. But they should. And if you run it right, that's the other key is the cutter going through the doors needs to set a screen for somebody first. That's what gets the action working a lot better. But sometimes they just run them through there and the defense is ready for it. So, whew. All right. Wow, Randy, let's see here. Wait, let's go. Oh, my goodness gracious. You guys are so generous. Thank you. Randy Triante, Lakers must start Dwight over JaVale. Well, they're starting him in the third quarter, if you noticed. And I don't even know if that was necessary. I thought JaVale played okay in the first quarter for the most part. But, they obviously like his goon squad, energy. And I hate to say it that way, but that's what he is. And he's trying to disrupt, get Jokic to engage, get thrown out, get fouls, all that stuff. And there was a time in my life I probably would have thought that's great offense, that's great playoff basketball. It's whatever advantage you can have, but I don't know at that point, and I have no problem trash talking, getting the player's mind that way. But this extra physical stuff, it's like he could have hurt Jokic on a couple of those, and that's just not right. Shub takes dubs. Love the content, Coach. Thank you so much. I was wondering who you thought the most underrated, forgotten NBA player of all time in your opinion was. Grant Hill is definitely one. I did a video on him because of that, because he was, going to be the next Michael Jordan until he got hurt. He really was that good. Even the guy who got, oh my goodness, who got killed from the Nets in the early 90s, who was so good. I'm going to scroll down the bottom here. You're going to tell me who it is, and I'm just mortified I can't tell you. Hey, Grant Hill, playoff choker or not, he was still amazing. But come on, who is it? Petrovic, thank you very much. Gerald. Drazen Petrovic, another guy who's forgotten. You know who also was forgotten, by the way, before I'll get to the other super chats in a second? Michael Finley. I was a manager at Wisconsin with Michael Finley. So for the 2 years I was manager, he was there for his junior and senior year. And, we were the same age. And he was a 20-some point a game scorer in the NBA. All-star, terrific player. And I think he's forgotten. It's too bad. He was so good on both ends of the floor and great person. So Michael Finley, go look up some highlights because he was like not as athletic as Jordan, but he was a really a great athlete. Could make amazing plays. I knew watching him practice that he was going to be a great pro once he got on the floor with 4 other pros alongside him, and that's exactly what happened. He was just great, and we can't forget him. But great question. The Trib one, oh my goodness, thank you so much again. Murray reminds me of Gilbert Arenas. Gosh, Gilbert, by the way, went to my high school. I had just gotten there after he left. But we've talked a little bit about it, and who I coached with some of his coaches. Gilbert Arenas, yeah, that might be a good comp. Yeah. Now Gilbert didn't shoot like threes as well, but he would have, I'm sure, by now, in this day and age. So Gilbert is probably a good call on that. Yeah. Let's see here. Wow, Ben Wallace, Sidney Moncrief. I'm wondering what he's responding to, because those are names you don't normally see on YouTube. Luca Della Rect, thank you. My goodness, and that's a really cool GIF. I wonder, again, you guys know how to do that. I don't know how to make GIFs happen in the comments here, but thank you. Thank you so much, V Gumashta. No question, but if you have a question, throw it out there. I'll see if I can't get it to you. An answer. Grant Lewis, my goodness, so kind. There is no way the Lakers lose Game 4. Oh, okay. You want to go at me? Okay, bring it on. Jeremy Grant will not score 20 plus a game again. The Lakers almost won if Kuzma and KCP didn't take bad shots late. Okay, and why are they shooting? That's the big problem. They shouldn't have been. I guess. But again, they remember Denver ultimately got control. Yeah, out of those shots. That's not a bad point. I think Jeremy Grant doesn't need to score 20 again for them to win, though. I think. Let's look at the starters. So it's the Millsap's the biggest issue, and they're going to have to figure out something. I say it's cut his minutes a little bit. But, Grant, okay, let's say he gets 18. Jokic gets his, 25, whatever. Murray gets his 25. I think they can. And Gary Harris, by the way, was very quiet as well. And he did a terrible decision to pass up a little one dribble pull up in the corner and try to do a double pump something and threw the ball off the lower part of the backboard. That was embarrassing. I don't think he'll be that problematic. And then Michael Porter Jr. all season long, they won't play him enough. And I understand it. I totally get it. By the way, Dozier didn't get in. That was interesting. I thought for sure he'd get some minutes, but they couldn't get into a rhythm enough where he could trust him. But Dozier I think could have helped them as well, defensively as well, to get into, especially in that run. But I don't think that the Jeremy Grant thing is the hinges on everything like that. But yeah, I mean, there's some things that the Lakers can look at and point to make them feel better about it. But a loss is a loss, man, and they were down big. Nation JJ, wow, thank you. Coach, did you giggle when they doubled Grant? Let me think of when they doubled Grant. Oh, yeah. So wait, and I think it wasn't a mismatch, right? It was, I wanted to say AD was on him and they doubled him anyway. So that was insanity. Morris had a terrible defensive thing where he was guarding the guy in the corner and then decided, well, this is a weird matchup. I better get off of him. But the ball was on the strong side, and he runs away under the basket and then gives up an open three to Morris. Morris gives an open three to Morris. It's all confusing. Bernardo Vivas, thank you so much from R. I wonder where R is. That's not like Russia, is it? What's R? Considering Gary Harris basically has no one to guard in the series, why not play Morris with Murray more? That's interesting. Also, Jokic is the best big offensively since who? Dirk, and Murray kind of reminds me of a non-splashy version of Kyrie. Yeah, I could kind of see, Murray has that finishing, interesting angles, high off the backboard, a high skill level. So I think I could see Murray and Kyrie. It's a good comp. Gary Harris, I mean, listen, who's he guarding? He gets to guard, KCP. Which is it's a good matchup. That's what we should be playing. But why not play Morris with Murray more? Oh, I forgot. I should check my notes. They got Murray off the ball a little bit more, and that's a key. And that's why Harris could be that guy, but Morris was the guy playing the point guard, and they got him a three off of a nice pin down. That's another big issue, another big key there that opened it up, I think. Obviously, you want Murray with the ball and controlling a lot of the offense, but you need to mix it up a little bit and get him off ball, coming off screens too, to vary it and let the defense have to think about some things. And they did that more in this game. That was really another great adjustment by Malone, and I don't know if Vogel has much of a adjustment to that, simply just to play better. They have to defend that better. But more of those pin down stuff, I think, will put the Lakers in interesting positions where it'll force guys like LeBron to really have to give out more on defense to cover. Let's see here. Wait, was there a... oh, you know what? I got out of order here. How did that happen? Forgive me. Oh, or maybe this all came in a flurry. Sorry. Nation JJ, Shub Grant Hill made the Hall of Fame, though. Okay? I guess that he did, and he deserved it. And I did a video on it, and I think he watched it. So, Varun Reeswood, again, thank you, Varun. Oh, gosh. How would you defend Jokic? Teams can't double him. It's just putting a good defender on him and playing one-on-one defense the only option. So there's the kind of thing where you say, yeah, play one-on-one against him with Dwight or AD or whatever, and don't let him pass to other people. Stay on your man. I think that's the best way to do it, because again, yeah, you double off of him, and he's going to slice and dice you up. It's going to be rough. So for sure. You can't double him, Now, or you can kind of do it. Just keep him guessing every once in a while. Try and get him to turn his back, and then bam, hit him double team from there, from where he's not looking. So you can do it, but not a lot. You know what I mean? You got to keep him on his toes, show him different looks and different defenders, but really, try and close down gaps, try and close down the good passes for other people, and if you have to let him score a little bit, let him score a little bit. Colin Anthony, better offensive big man, Jokic, Karl Towns, or Embiid? Remember, Cat shot 41% from 3 on 8 attempts this year. Karl, Cat, Jokic. I think it's offensive. I just think it's Jokic. His passing is above and beyond anybody else's, and that makes him better as a scorer, because they can't key on that. They're afraid he's going to pass too. Jokic shoots really well, but he doesn't shoot as many threes. But he can nail threes. Like, it's a thing you got to guard him at least out there. It's not like, you can just leave him alone. So, Towns is really, they're all really good. I think it's really hard to pick one, but I'm always a fan of passing like that. And Jokic is the top of the pops for that. So I'm going to pick him for that. Jay Delgado, oh my goodness, thank you very, very much for this and for the CRC. I wonder what CRC stands for. We'll have to get someone tell me what money that is. Coach, do you think Denver still has enough energy in those legs to win 3 more against LA? Absolutely, they do. They got an extra day of rest today. They're not traveling. They're sleeping in these normal beds, and they get plenty of sleep. They should be ready to go, raring to go, no problem. Travis Odine, oh my goodness gracious, Travis, thank you so much. What can I do for you? Hey, can a role player be better than a starter? Examples from tonight either way. Thank you for making my life better. Well, listen, thank you. I can't, I'm just doing my little part here to give some insights, and I'm glad that could make your life better. Can a role player be better than a starter? Yeah, I mean, sometimes starters are role players, right? So, it's like, depends on which kind of starter you can be. But yeah, on any given night in the NBA, you can have a role player just detonate and go off. Now, are you talking about for a whole season? Yeah, I mean, we've seen that where is like Montrezl Harrell better than Zubats? Like, probably, I know defensively it's different, but, but they bring him off. Now, is he a role player? I mean, probably if he's coming off the bench. Because that's an interesting thing. Are role players bench players? Is that like the same Venn diagram? Not necessarily, right? So anyway, I hope I'm answering your question properly. But yeah, in any given night, in any given game, yes, for sure they can just light it up. And then if they go to another team and they get a different role, and then they can be really great. Yes, like that happens too. So tonight, let's say he wants examples from tonight. Well, let's go. Let's see. Look at the starters. I mean, certainly, I think that Michael Porter Jr. is playing better than Millsap. I mean, I think he's better than Millsap at this stage of their careers, anyway. So there's a good example there. And then let's see here on the Lakers side, like, is Caruso better than Danny Green? Like, probably. I don't know. That's an interesting question. Is Rondo better than anybody in the starters? Like, maybe. He's certainly, like, they might think about that. Would they bench Danny Green and put Rondo in? Like, that'd be interesting. Maybe if they tie it up, they might have to do something like that. I like to see that. But I'm always out of the box crazy. You never know. My goodness gracious. Okay, Coach, did you giggle when they doubled Grant? So now I'm caught up on that one. Let's see here. Am I? Yes. Yeah. So it was kind of funny, but it was also like they were just doubling everybody. They were just trying to pressure and out physical everybody. It was crazy. Bernardo Vivas. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Considering Gary Harris basically has no one to guard in this. Oh, okay. I already did that one, right? Okay. Well, I almost did this one. So, Morris, I think that Morris is playing enough minutes. He should be playing his 22 minutes. I think they're doing really well. And he did really well, didn't he? Let's see. Morris ultimately was 5 for 7 from the field. He's shooting really well in this series for 14 points. I would give Morris at least 4 more minutes. Give him another extra little bit of a run there for sure. And then the last part is Jokic is the best offensively since who? Dirk. I don't know. I mean, who else has been big? Like, does Duncan count like that? Like, was he the best big man we had since then? Or is it like Kevin Garnett? Man, that's a tough one. That list is so long, how many good big men there are. But he's certainly the best passing big man since Walton. And Murray kind of reminds me of a non-splashy version of Kyrie. Okay, got that one. Frank Herrera. Oh, thank you, my goodness. Coach, what if a team mastered alternating from 2-3, 3-2, 1-3-1 zone for every possession? Would this be effective keeping the offense guessing? Yes, absolutely. Why are teams using the 2-3 zone? Is it the best zone D? That's a really good question, why they don't do other kinds of zones. I would imagine that the 2-3 is the easiest to teach and put in, and that is true, and which is why they don't really want to do. We've seen 1-2-2s a little bit, but I suppose coaches are worried because they're not getting enough reps to practice that they're going to screw it up somehow. I would play Amoeba. Amoeba was my zone that I coach, and I love it because it's hyper-aggressive, 1-1-3, and with a pro team, you could get so much done with that, and it's not even that hard to teach. So I would suspect that as we move along into the future, we're going to see more and more zones and played more different kind of zones and more often because, yeah, they're going to get better at 2-3 attacking it, and you're going to need to have something else to go to. The boxes in 1, triangle in 2 stuff as well. But I think it's just because it's so easy to teach and everyone knows it from 6th grade that they use a 2-3 to start. Would this be effective keeping the offense guessing? Yes. Why are teams using... Okay, so there you go. V. Gumasha, oh my goodness, thank you again. Coach, awesome content. Do you think that Murray and Monte Morris hold the ball a little too much? Quite often it seems to me there are open guys that don't hit. Well, Murray, I thought, did nicely tonight, but there are other times when he does over-dribble, for sure, and then somehow bails them out by hitting a crazy great shot. But Monte Morris, I don't know. I think Monte Morris feels like he's playing within himself and doing it the right way. I don't think he's holding it. If I had to point to anybody, it's LeBron is holding it too long. He's really just, killing the motion and making it easier on the defense to some degree. Neo Amor, wow. Coach, thank you so much. Coach, do you think the Lakers need to play more zone in Game 4 to help force the Nuggets to turnovers and get back there? Yeah, I think they should try it again for sure. Spring it on them a little bit, but... I don't think they don't have a lot of reps themselves. So it's like you're going to put a defense in they haven't played all year long and don't have a real feel for. It's risky, but I love switching up defenses. So any chance they can do it, yes, for sure. And also it helped their transition game going to offense because you always know where you are, like on turnovers. It's easy to fill those lanes quickly and get right back down. That's why Syracuse, when they run their zones, you can also tend to have a good fast break out of that. Jakey the Snaky, wow, thank you so much. Big fan. Who is better right now, Tatum or Murray? Wow, that's a really good question. Man, I don't know. They're both like so different, but I don't know. I had this big discussion. You'll hear about it in the podcast tomorrow. So let's make sure to tune in with Jared Weiss about Tatum and what I felt about him. But he's really good. And the thing is, he's really, really young. Murray is probably 2 years older than him. So, you might want to say Murray could be like just slightly better, but Tatum will be better than him sooner than later, if not sooner. So that's an interesting connection to have to make. Meredith Kufor, thank you, Meredith. All right. I always like to have people of the people who are non-male to join our conversation. On one play, MPJ tipped in a shot in the same Jokic did at the end of the last. Why can't you touch the ball in the air if your own teammate shoots it? Okay. So that's a great question. I can maybe bring Ronnie in to talk about that too, because you have to give the shot a chance to go in, and then usually that means you have to give a shot the chance to hit the rim. And if it's going to hit the rim and you touch it before that, and that's goaltending, it's no good. Even if it's clearly short, you have to kind of wait, put your hands underneath and wait for the air ball to catch it and put it in. That's the only way to do that. So it looked to the referees like it was going to hit the rim, and it probably would have, maybe the bottom underneath part of the rim. And that's the rule: is if it looks like it's going to happen, you touch it before that, then they can't count it. But that was really athletic, wasn't it? It was pretty jaw dropping. But thank you, Meredith, for that great question. Nation JJ, Coach, opinion on Billy Donovan to the Bulls. Okay, so you also have to hear my podcast, so we talk about that a little bit too. But I think it's certainly a huge upgrade from where they were, just quite honestly. So that's one thing. And they have a nice little team brewing here, right? They got Kobe White, and you can play that alongside Zach LaVine. You go Markkanen and Wendell Carter Jr. and yes, the fifth player, who I'm forgetting now, who is at small forward. Otto Porter. That's not a bad team. That could win some games with Billy Donovan running modern stuff with them. Satoransky off the bench is a good position for him. That's where he should be playing off of. They probably have one more player that I'm forgetting that is viable. I guess Chris Dunn maybe kind of could fit into that a little bit off the bench. So they have a nice little team there in the Eastern Conference. They should be able to make some noise without question, and it will be a lot better than it was this year. So yeah, wow, that was crazy. 53 straight minutes of like super chat questions. Thank you guys. That was amazing. That was crazy. And I don't know. So the podcast, I think I'm going to go back to doing it once a week. So please subscribe to it if you haven't already and listen to it, because it's good. And it gives me a chance to really dive in. And Jared's always great, and he'll be coming on often from last season when we were killing it. Let's see here. Let's see. I'll grab a couple more questions, and we'll wrap it up here. But because it's getting a little bit long in the tooth here on a Tuesday evening. Let's see here. Soham Sethi, are we exiting the era of the point guard and re-entering the big man era? Just look at 3 out of the 4 teams in the conference finals. Okay, let's look at them. Jokic, I guess AD, and who like it's not the Celtics don't have it, and then I guess we're talking about Bam. I don't know. I think it's pretty balanced, and I think that the big men are going to be more guard-like. So it's the big man playing like guards era, maybe what's going to happen. And then heck, maybe the guards will post up. Gigolo Puff, that was intense. What was intense? What did I miss? Oh boy, I think you had to like maybe moderate some stuff. Is that what happened? I don't know, but thank you for doing that. And I got to make sure to hit you up on an email to thank you. I'll do that as soon as I can. Let's see here. Does Murray and Jokic remind you of Stockton and Malone? Yeah, that's actually a good comp. Not necessarily the way they attack, although a little bit, all the handoffs and stuff like that. There's some Stockton Malone there too. So yeah, that's a pretty good comp. Yeah, if you know, Stockton didn't shoot that many threes, although he was decent at them, but and then Malone doesn't pass and then we're anywhere near like Jokic. So it's a little bit different, but at least the synergy or whatever you want to call it together, there's something there that's reminiscent. So good comp there. Let's see here. Last question. Let's do it in the orange. Are wings more valuable than bigs? Well, unless the bigs are like Jokic. And remember, Jokic's defense is suboptimal, but because he's so good on offense, it balances out in a positive way for them. So, you know, there's nothing worse right now going forward in the NBA than having a big. Like Montrezl Harrell, you'd almost would think is like, that's like the most undesirable kind of player you want at the center position right now. And what you really want is like either a Bam, who can shoot the 15, 18-footer, is a great passer, is tough, you know, can protect the rim and all those things. And also Bam Adebayo is so much better defensively than Harrell. So you want like the Bam kind of guy, who basically would be a wing, right? Almost. He's almost short enough to be a wing. Or like a Jokic kind of guy. Otherwise, yes, and the wings are much more important. So it depends. Like if you can't personnel-wise create that or find it in a big man in a center position, then yes, your wings then, as by default, become the most important. Although again, then we're kind of ignoring the guards, right? The lead guards who are doing damage. You know, I mean, let's look at the 4 teams that are still around. Jamal Murray. Okay, so Lakers don't really have it. Let's see. You know what? Kemba and then Marcus Smart are certainly in that discussion like that. And then on the other side in Miami, you know, you got Dragic, you got Butler. I consider Butler like a 2 guard, but whatever he is. So you know, are those wings? Can point guards be wing-ish? You know, it's a quite interesting question. But I think clearly you have an advantage when you have a guy at the center position that can pass and can shoot at least to 15 or 18 feet. If you have those 2 things in the center, and then, you know, he can play some defense, that's perfection. That's what you need going forward. And that could be a guy who's 6'8", you know, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", tops, long arms. Let's see here. All right, well, let's see. I think that's it for the Super Chats, and I think we're going to wrap this up in a nice 57 minutes and a half of a show. So, listen, go hug your loved ones, hug your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your kids. Make sure they know that you love them. And you guys, I love you guys for being here with me on all these nights. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. I'll get a breakdown of this game up in the morning. So please, you know, watch it twice. Hey, why not? Again, thank you guys so much for being part of this. It's really just, it blows me away how big this has become. And it's big, like, you know, it's really gotten out there. And I don't know what to tell you besides, you know, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And we'll be right back again. I'll be answering all of your questions as I can in the super chat, in the comments, wherever. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll always respond to that generally. And comments, whatever. And again, thank you so much for being here. And we will see you again tomorrow. You in?